Hello and thanks for watching this Microsoft Intune video. This is automation for role-based access control, video 5 of 5 of Intune role administration. In this section, we'll cover 3 different topics. First, how to clone a role. Second, how to view all the permissions for a user. And third, we'll use a script to apply scope tags automatically. All of these scripts are available at the following GitHub repository: github.com/microsoft-graph/PowerShell Intune samples. All of these scripts are available at the following location: github.com/microsoft-graph/PowerShell Intune samples. Alright, let's get started. I've opened up my PowerShell window and I'm at my default directory. Let's change to the folder that contains all of the graph commandlets. If we take a look at what's here, I've just simply copied the GitHub repository to my local drive. I have a folder called RBAC. Let's take a look at the files that are there. The first one that we're going to do is we're going to duplicate a role. So I'm simply going to run RBAC duplicate role, and let's see what happens. I'll go ahead and choose Run. Now, the first thing that I need to do is authenticate with my account. This is the same for every one of the PowerShell scripts that we have on GitHub. Now that I've authenticated, the script runs through and looks at a list of all of the default policies for my tenant. In this case, let's make a copy of the help desk operator. That's it. That's all I needed to do. To see the effect of what we just did, remember we copied a built-in role and created a custom role. Let's go over to our Intune console and we'll go to Roles, All Roles, and you'll see down here, here's our built-in role for help desk operator. And now we have another one called custom role, also help desk operator. So this has exactly all of the same permissions that our help desk operator role had. Now we can create new assignments or make any changes to the permissions that we want. Now if you're interested, you can also modify that Windows PowerShell script so that you can copy custom roles as well. Now for the next script, we wanted to show all of the permissions for a given user. So let me take a little diversion today and show you what's necessary to find all of the permissions for a given user today. Let's take, for example, our compliance policy architect. This has a role assignment, Seattle Help Desk, and in that role assignment, we have a member group. Now we need to know who is in that particular member group in order to see whether or not a given user has permissions. So now I've got to go to Azure Active Directory. I've got to go to Groups. I've got to find my Seattle Help Desk group. I've got to look at it, and of course get the members. Now that I have the members of that particular security group, I have to do exactly the same thing to determine which roles Sally is assigned to and what permissions she has. That's an awfully big task. So let's see how we can do this with a single PowerShell script. If I change over to my PowerShell, let's clear the screen and take a look at the scripts that I have available. This last one here, user status, is the one that we're going to run. Now that I've already authenticated, it's not prompting me to authenticate again, but if I hadn't authenticated to my tenant, this script would again prompt me to log in. But in this case, it's just asking me for the name of the user that I'm interested in inquiring about. So let's put in Sally at thundercreek.onmicrosoft.com and see what we get. I'll go ahead and let this run, and then we'll scroll back up to the top and walk through it. All right. So the first thing that we got back was Sally's display name, user ID, and user principal name from Azure Active Directory. Then we did an inquiry to Azure AD and determined whether or not the user had a specific directory role. But in this case, Sally is just a regular user. She's a member of 2 Azure AD groups, all Intune licensed users, and as we saw, Seattle Help Desk. This is the end of the Azure AD specific information, and now we transition to the Intune specific information. So she has one role assigned, Help Desk Operator. The role assignment display name is Seattle Help Desk, and there's one security group, that's our member group, one security group, that's our scope group. And in fact, she's also a member of the Compliance Policy Architect. We did see this when we looked in the UI at the role assignments. She's in this Seattle Help Desk role assignment, and again, the same member group and scope group. And across both of those 2 roles, the Compliance Policy Architect and the Help Desk, Sally has all of the following permissions available to her while she's in Intune. For the last section, we're going to assign some scope tags to a bunch of devices. So in the GitHub repository, we have this new script called RBAC scope tags device assign. What this will do is this will locate any devices that are managed devices in Intune, which are either part of a security group themselves, or if the users are part of a security group, it will find any enrolled devices for those users and assign a scope tag. So let's go ahead and run this. I first need to log in, so I'll log in as an administrator who has permissions to see all of the scope tags. And the next thing that it'll ask is for the security group that I want to inspect. So I have one called All Devices. We'll get that one, and we will assign one of the scope tags. In this case, because I've chosen All Devices, it makes sense that I would want to also make all devices available to everybody who's in my central IT organization. So if you think about central IT being the group that has visibility to all users and devices in the organization, we want to ensure that they can see them as well. So we'll go ahead and select one for central IT. It just asks for confirmation. And now it'll go through and look for any devices. And you notice we're getting a bunch of returns back for devices that it's not found. And the reason why is because these are old devices that had aged out. But you notice we have a couple of them that have returned back green. And these are ones that now have the scope tag assigned to them. So for example, the 2 at the end, Eric Surface LTE and HoloLens NBS BJ. Let's go take a look over in the Azure portal, and we can see the scope tag that's been assigned to those particular devices. So here I was in my scope tag list, but if I go to my devices, choose all devices, you'll notice this list is quite a bit shorter than what we saw the script go through, because the script was actually finding all of the old devices that have been unenrolled as well, that were members of that security group. But if we take a look at the Eric Surface LTE device and go look at the scope tags, you can see there's several scope tags that are assigned to this, as well as the newest one, Central IT. So this script will help you tag any of your resources that need to have a scope tag for any users that are a member of a specific security group and all their associated devices, or if you specify a security group with devices, it'll also assign scope tags to that. Thanks for watching this Microsoft Intune video series on role-based access control.